Hello everybody and welcome to the Sovereign Village Project. I want to talk today about using pollutants and trash that may exist on your property, how to find ways to use them. Instead of looking at them as a problem, how do we kind of use that permaculture framework to look at them as a solution? When we came onto this site, fortunately there wasn't much in terms of garbage and trash except for one major exception, these asphalt shingles. A massive, massive pile of asphalt shingles. It covers an area that's probably about 20 by 20 and despoils what is otherwise a very beautiful, pristine, natural area. So we looked at it as this monster task at first. How do we get rid of these things? It's a massive amount of manual labor to pack these into garbage bags and haul them into a landfill. Also, the landfill in our county here happens to be kind of running out of space, so really I will just be contributing to a problem, and they're still getting stuck in the ground. There's still a polluting factor wherever they end up, and I'm just using fossil fuels to get them. So instead I started to think about this a little bit differently, which is, can I incorporate them and work around them? Because there's some bad stuff in asphalt shingles, but in the end they're basically just asphalt. They're not the worst thing in the world. Everything downhill of them seems to be thriving, and it goes right into a forest. It doesn't seem to be impacting it negatively, and nature is doing what nature's job is, which is clean up after our messes. So I started to think about the strength of these things, one of which is that they're really structurally kind of stable, and there's no level ground on this property, and right now we need to build a rabbit housing. And what we're using for rabbit housing is just a simple metal shed from a big box store. Easy, goes up fast. So there's not a major structure that I need to be too picky about. It just needs to last a few years and be solid enough. It's not gonna have a lot of weight. If stuff shifts a little bit, that's okay, but I do need a level site. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing these asphalt shingles up into this site. I'm piling them up to level out the ground, and then I'm piling dirt over them. This shed will be over them, so all of the water runoff from the water runoff from rain and such will not go through the shingles. So those shingles will just go right into the ground and should ideally not be polluting much downstream from them. I'll also be avoiding this area with my swales, and then we have a driveway up above it, and I'm going to direct the water runoff from the driveway through this area, because where we park there's also going to be some oil, that might drip from a car, and whatever pollutants are on the car from the city or whatever, that's getting sprayed or whatever. So I want to take all these pollutants away, so I don't want them to go into my normal swales, my normal water management systems. So I'm directing them all through this area, so all of these pollutants go to one place, which is into the forest, and this forest sits high above the water stream or the water table, so there's a lot of time for nature to take up any kind of pollutants there are and deal with them properly, because dilution is the solution to pollution. And we're also going to look into how else to mitigate that. What kind of plants can we plant there that are going to take up some of those toxic heavy metals, and how can we deal with them? But I'm not too worried about the impact on the forest. It's already taking that impact just fine. And we're going to really be mitigating that along the way. So instead of getting rid of the trash, we use the trash, because every civilization since the dawn of man has built their civilization on top of the last one, and you can always find layers and layers of trash beneath them. And so we're mitigating this problem, we're burying the problem, and we're using the problem as a solution. And that's a great way to go about trash. Just make sure you're aware of what's in it, look at the chemical content, kind of like do some basic Googling, and you can come up with these solutions and make the work worth it. Because also, I hate dealing with trash, but if I'm building a shed for my rabbits, it feels a little bit better to do this work because it's productive. It's not just cleaning up. Hopefully that's another helpful tip, everybody. In the meantime, stay safe, be well, and happy homesteading.